Hi guys, in this video we are going to add the mystery ship. The mystery ship is this one that you can see here, the red one, and basically what the mystery ship does is that it appears every 25 seconds and it moves from the left to the right, and that's it. While it's moving it has its own sound and has a higher score than all the invaders. Like the invaders have like 10, 20, and 30, and the mystery ship is like 100 or 30, 300. I'm not sure. I know that in the original game, the value of the mystery ship, the score associated with the mystery ship, had some math involved. Like you need to count. It was related to the number of shots that the player made until destroying the ship, something like that. But we are not going to worry about it. So we're just going to give like a high score to this one. And so let's start by adding the mystery ship. So we start by uploading a new sprite, and I have it here, mystery ship, and yes, and we also need a new costume for the explosion. So when the player is able to destroy the mystery ship, we can just change the costume to this one. And here, yep. And now we are going to implement the code for the mystery ship. So the first thing that we need, like I said, is that it will appear every 25 seconds, moving from the left to the right, always on the same height. So when we receive the start message, and we can only do this when we receive the start. I mean, we could start counting the 25 seconds from the beginning, but then it takes a few seconds to just generate all the invaders and the bunkers and everything. So we are actually going to start counting when the game actually starts. So when I receive start, we are going to be running this forever and wait 25 seconds in between, and then we create a clone. So we are running this loop. This loop stops at the beginning and waits 25 seconds, creates a clone, waits 25 seconds, creates another clone, and just continues like this while the game is running. And when we start as a clone, what we need to do is to position the mystery ship on the correct position to start here on the left. And before we do that, let's just hide the original one, because we won't be using the original one. So we hide always the original sprite. And when we start as a clone, we are going to position it on the correct position, which is going to be the top, not the top left, but the left edge of the screen, which is minus 240. I don't know, I think we can put it more to the left than this, so it can't actually disappear, but it will seem that it's coming into the screen, because it will be, at least if we position it minus 240, it will be something like this, like in the middle. And the height of the ship is, let me see, 31. The ship has 16 of height, so 31 plus 8, 39. And we have 39, 180 minus 39 is going to be 141, if I'm not mistaken. So we are going to position, yeah, it's here. So we are going to position it, put the original one in the position that we want, so minus 240 and 131, no, 141, yeah. This is where the ship is going to start, and let's just put now go to this position, and we can hide the original one, and this is what we need to do. So when I start the clone, we need to position the ship in the correct place. Then we are going to show the sprite, because we are hiding the original one. So each time we start as a clone, we show the sprite, and then we're going to move the ship until it reaches the right edge of the screen. And we could do it as with a forever block and just change the position, check if the position is equal to the right edge of the screen, or if the ship is touching the right edge of the screen. But we are going to use another block which we haven't used yet, which is the repeat until. And this is exactly what we want. So we want to repeat what's inside the block, and what's inside the block is going to be moving the ship to the right until it reaches the edge of the screen. So inside the block, first we are going to change the X position of the ship by 10. Now it's really fast, 10. I'm going to use by 2. And we are going to repeat this until the ship reaches the right edge of the screen. And we know that we can use the touching the edge. Now, the problem with using just repeat until touching the edge is that if the ship starts at this position, it starts touching the edge because the edge touching edge works for any edge of the screen. And if the ship is already touching this edge, then it would immediately disappear. So we can't use this only. What we want is that we only want to run this or repeat this until the ship is touching the right edge. And the way to use this touching edge with a way to detect if it's touching the right edge is using this block with comparing the position of the ship. And so we know that the ship is on the right side of the screen when the x position is greater than 0, because we know that the axis starts in the middle. So we know that the ship is touching the edge. I mean, when the ship is touching the edge and its x position, the x position of the ship is greater than 0, we know that the edge is the right one. So we are going to add a comparison here with a net condition. So if the x position of the ship is greater, if the x position of the ship is greater than 0 and the ship is touching the edge, then this stops because we are using the repeat until. So we are going to repeat, we are going to change x by 2 until the position is greater than 0 and touching the edge. We could also use some other value for the x position and not use it at all touching the edge. I mean, we can repeat until x position is greater than, and we just get some value here, like this is 240, so like if it's greater than not 240 but 230, something like that would also work. But we can also use it this way, and which is also a good way to see how we can detect or know which edge we are touching. And so they start as a clone, they start moving from this position until they reach the edge, and when they reach the edge, we are just going to hide the ship, because that's what we do, and then 25 seconds afterwards it's going to start a new clone that will do exactly the same. Here, maybe we just can't hide it, we just won't hide it. I mean, if we are using the clone, we are going to actually delete the clone, because I was thinking that we wouldn't be using the clones, but since we are using a clone, when it reaches the edge of the screen, we just delete the clone. And so let's see, and just, I'm not going to put like 25 seconds there, 1 second. Oh, it's going to appear a lot of ships now. Yeah. Now we have a lot of them, but we can see that it's working, they are moving, and when they reach the edge, they just disappear. Yeah, that's what we want. But not with 25 seconds, but not with 1 second, but with 25, but we'll change it later. So now that we can see that the ship is appearing, it's moving to the right and disappearing when it reaches the right edge. Now, the ship has its own sound when it's moving, so we're going to add that sound. So let's just import the sounds. Now I'm going to show you which sounds I chose for this. We have 2 sounds for the mystery ship, one for the moving and one for the explosion. And the ones that I selected, the explosion was this one, Explosion Crunch 001, because it's like a bigger explosion. I think we are using the first one for the invaders, which is like a small explosion, and this one is like more, the sound is longer, which I think it looks cool with the mystery ship. And for the movement, I'm using this computer noise. I mean, it was the best one that I could find from this selection. And so I'm going to import both sounds, because we are going to use both in the bit. So Space Invaders, sounds, and here we have the explosion, the mystery ship. This is the one for the moving sound. Oh, and I mute this. So yeah, this is the one for when the ship is moving, and we are going to add a new one for when we explode the mystery ship, which is this one. I'm going to put it so. Yeah, it's a little bit longer than the one that we are using for the invaders. And now that we have the sound, so when I started the clone, we repeat until reaching the right edge. We change this, and now we need to play the sound. And the sound, I don't know the length of the sound, and it doesn't say here. Oh, it says it's like 5 seconds. Yeah, it's like 5 seconds. But since we are not sure, it will depend on the speed of the ship that we are using. Because we are not sure if the sound will be enough for the ship to go from the left to the right, we need to keep repeating the sound while the clone is active. And a way that we can do it is just play the sound inside the forever block, and wait for the sound to finish. So we can add when I started the clone, a forever, and we are going to add a new play sound and wait until done. And not the explosion one, but the mystery ship. But make sure that you are using the play sound until done and not the start sound, because if you use only the start sound, then it will be starting the sound on every frame, and it will be really awkward. So what you want is like the play sound until done. What it does is that inside this loop, it will play the sound, wait for the sound to end, and then start again from the beginning. So this is what you want. You create like a sound loop with this. And let me see if it's working. Now we're gonna have a lot of ships, so probably it's gonna look weird. I'm not gonna do this. I'm gonna take the forever block and just create one clone, and then we can see. It's really loud. Yeah, the sound is really loud. I'm just gonna put it. No. In comparison with the one from the Invaders, I think it was really loud. Yeah. Okay, so now we have the sound. I'm gonna put this back in a bit. Now we have the sound, it's moving, disappearing, everything is working okay. Now we need to destroy the ship. So basically we're gonna need, when the player laser hits the ship, we're going to destroy it. And since we have an explosion sprite, we have an image for the explosion, we also need to show that sprite, wait for a little bit, and only then afterwards destroy the clone. So let's do another when I started the clone here, because that's when we are going to be running this. And inside the forever box, we are going to detect when the mystery ship collides with a player laser, and we already know how to do it. So it's a forever with an if, and if touching the laser, then we do what we need to do. And then we also going to add in the laser when it touches the mystery ship to also destroy itself. So when the mystery ship touches the laser, we are going to change the costume. And since we only have 2 costumes and it always starts with this one, we can just call the next costume to change to the next one. And then you already know, every time you change a costume and you want to see that change happening, you need to wait for a little bit. So you're gonna wait for 0.2 seconds so that we can see this happening. And we are also going to play the sound of the explosion. So we change to the next costume, we play the sound of the explosion, and then we wait, and then we destroy the clone. Delete this clone. And now I'll need to hit the mystery ship with the laser. I'm not gonna change it, I'm not gonna try this. So I'm just gonna do something here, because I won't be trying to shoot the mystery ship with the laser, with the player, because it might take a while. So I'm gonna wait like 5 seconds and then run this to see if it's working. And yes, it worked, yeah, it worked, but it kept moving. And I wanted to stop, and I didn't want the mystery ship to keep moving. I don't know if you saw it, but it was destroyed, but the sprite still moved a little bit. I'm gonna try it again, just to make sure. Yeah, it keeps moving, and we don't want that. So maybe what we can do here is just stop And I used this on the last video, but we didn't talk a lot about this. We have different options for this stop. If we make stop all, it means that it stops everything. Actually, I think it's all is for the entire game. I'm not sure, to be honest. This script, it means that it will change. It will stop the block where the the sequence of blocks where this is being used. And if it stops other scripts in the sprite, it means that it will stop all the other scripts of the sprite, all the other blocks that are currently running, all the forever blocks and everything that are currently running, but won't stop this one. And this is what we want, because we want for the sprite to stop moving, so we want to stop this, and we want to stop the sound, but we want to keep this going on. So I'm just going to stop other script in the sprite and then start the sound, and let's see if it stops. Perfect. That's exactly what we want. And now we can just put this not inside the forever, inside this one inside the forever, and just connect this one here. And this is it about the mystery ship. Oh no, we are still missing the laser, so we need to also add this to the laser. And we already have like a bunch of conditions here. So if the position is greater, or touching the invader, or touching the bunker, or touching the mystery ship, or let me add this here, or touching the mystery ship. Once again, I'm making a mistake. It's this one that we want. It's kind of hard to, yeah. Okay, so these are all the conditions where the player laser destroys itself. And this is it about the mystery ship. Oh no, I forgot to put back the time. Yeah. So hide, wait 25 seconds, and then stop. Wait 25 seconds, and then create clones. And yeah, now I have the mystery ship working, and this is it. We can go to the next video. On the next video, let me see what do I have planned here. Oh, okay. On the next video, we are going to start implementing the game score. Yeah, so we have a score, and when we destroy the invaders and the mystery ship and everything, we are going to increase the score and do that whole process. So that's it. Thank you.